All right. Well, hello, everyone. And first of all, welcome to the month of May. The May flowers have started to bloom, bringing their allergies with them. And it's not the time for you, allergies. It's just not the time. You got to read the room. Let me be the first to welcome you to another episode of the Jazziz Daily Brunch. It is an action-packed day today. We've got a lot in store for you today. So if you, like many of us, are going to be parked in front of a laptop all day, you might as well just keep our Facebook page or YouTube page open, because check out what we've got going on today. Okay, in just a minute, we are going to talk with today's brunch guests, trombonist extraordinaire Delfeayo Marsalis. This guy is jazz royalty. There's really no other way to put it. You know, along with his brothers, Branford, Wynton, Jason, and of course, his late father, Ellis, he is one of the icons of New Orleans jazz. His latest album is Jazz Party with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. I've been spinning it all morning, and it is awesome. We're going to be talking to him about that and a little bit of everything else. Then at 2 p.m. Eastern, we've got Jazziz Brunch Second Course with guitarist Kevin Eubanks. You know him as the band leader of The Tonight Show with Jay Leno for many years. He's going to be joining us to talk about a special benefit concert for his hometown in Philadelphia. Again, that's at 2 p.m. And then, last but not least, 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be joined by a brand ambassador from Woodford Reserve, makers of a superb bourbon, to talk about classic pairings of cocktails and jazz albums. They'll be making cocktails on air. I'll be talking about albums that I think would go really well with those cocktails. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's advance of their Kentucky Derby at Home celebration tomorrow. Like I said, best thing to do is probably just keep that Facebook page open in your browser and check when we're live, because a lot of exciting stuff is in store for you today. All righty, we are going to get into our conversation with Delfeayo in a minute, but first I'd like to take a second just to thank a couple of today's sponsors. They include Mac Avenue Records. So this is a great label, been putting us on the road to great music for more than 20 years now. They have got an exciting initiative going on called the All One event. And so during Mac Avenue's All One event, which started yesterday, April 30th, and extends through Sunday, May 3rd, 100% of the sales from macavenue.com will go directly to Mac Avenue artists. So, you know, play your part in these tough times. Thank the amazing artists you love by supporting their music, and please help spread the word. You can use the hashtag Mac Avenue, the hashtag All One. And again, you buy these albums now, 100% of the proceeds go to the Mac artists. We are also brought to you by Meze Audio. This is a high-end audio company developing premium audiophile headphones and earphones, renowned for their timeless design, pure comfort, and engaging, vivid sound. You know, these headphones, I can tell you personally, are really, really sharp. They look great. They sound even better. They've got over-the-ear phones, in-ear phones. The 99 series is super sharp. The Empyrean model is just a thing of beauty. If you're serious about taking your listening to the next level, you can't go wrong with Meze Audio. We're actually going to be having a representative from Meze on the show on Monday at noon to walk us through some of the new products, audiophiles, vinyl freaks. You're going to want to tune in. You can learn more at mezeaudio.com. Well, all right, that does it for me and my sponsors. Without further ado, let us please welcome together our very special Jazz Brunch guest, Delfeayo Marsalis.
Ta-da!
Hey, man.
Sorry, that's the trumpet range. Ba-da!
There you go.
Ba-da.
Now we're in the trombone tuba range. I dig it, man. You're looking good, man. You're outside?
Yeah, I'm just right here on the back porch, just chilling. So
that's a beautiful
if
thing.
Mr. Sylvester hears me, you might hear a little New Orleans thing. You know, you might come in, say, bro, what you doing up there?
Hey, man, that's the spirit of New Orleans, man. I wish I could be outside New Orleans right about now on a porch.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee in hand. Sounds good, man. Well, hey, thank you for joining us. You know, first and foremost, you know, our condolences to you in the passing of your father, man. What a legend in jazz. And we do appreciate you coming on the show, man. That means a lot to us.
No problem.
Hey, man, how you been keeping busy during all this? You know, you've been playing, writing, listening. What's going on?
Yeah, I was under the weather for a little while, so it took some adjustment, but just started back to really trying to focus and playing. And the breathing is the thing. That's why I think I might have had the 19 for a minute, because the breathing is not quite the same. So I called one of my former teachers in Louisville, Brett Schuster, and I was asking for advice, and also, reached out to Elliot Mason, some of the guys that I thought could give me some helpful information about keeping it going. So it's looking good, looking really good.
That's
I've been
good. You're
dealing with a
feeling
lot of
better.
Charlie Parker. Yeah,
Okay.
Charlie Parker. That's where it is.
Us too, man. It's his centennial anniversary, 100th anniversary of Charlie Parker. We put him on the cover, man. Right. Look at this. That's spring 2020 issue, all about Bird.
Okay. That's killing. Yeah, we had two concerts that have been postponed until next year. But, one in Kansas City with a number of the local schools. And, of course, the great Bobby Watson. And we're looking to do that. And also another one at Longwood Gardens. So hopefully we'll be able to pull those off next year.
I think so, man. Soon enough. Did you happen to catch any of the International Jazz Day concerts online last night?
I did. Man, I miss International Jazz Day.
Well, you live International Jazz Day, man. So don't worry about it. You can.
The past 2 years, I had the request, or maybe it was this year and last year, but I had gigs. Actually, last year, I'm pretty sure I was playing with the family, so that was a good call.
They did a nice job with that concert, man. I think it's still up, so you can go check it out. Have you, during this COVID lockdown, done any of those virtual play along things where everyone's in their Brady Bunch square and all playing together?
I haven't done it yet. I'm still trying to survey the land, and being a fan of production and everything, I want to make sure that I can get the sound a certain kind of way.
I don't blame you, man.
I've been talking to the band about it, and we're trying to come up with a good strategy. So before it's all over, I think we're going to do at least one of those.
That would be great, man. It must be so bizarre to be living in New Orleans right now without any live music. Live music makes New Orleans.
Right. It is. It's kind of bizarre. We did have a brother that plays tuba, and he practiced a couple of days. I could hear him out in the street blowing, but I think he said, "Oh well."
Yeah.
And then we actually got a guy. I think he's a homeless guy, and he got a saxophone, and so he's the only one that I've heard actually out playing for real. He just plays real free. It's just different to hear. He loves playing. So.
It's cool, man. Yeah, because it's like in New Orleans, it's music coming out of every door. It's just spilling out of every door. So it must be very different. I don't know which would be harder, New Orleans now with no music, or after the 2019 NFC Championship when your Saints got robbed, man. That was.
Yeah, that was really tough. That's the tough way to go out, man. The loss in Minnesota the year before was tough. But at least we said, well, the guy made a play and our guy didn't make a play.
That's right, man.
The Rams was just like, oh, man, come on,
bro. Has had a tough go of it, man.
That was really tough. Yeah, that was tough.
But hey,
that
man.
was about as tough as Hurricane Katrina. That was
so,
Hurricane Katrina and then that
NFC Championship. I've heard, man, from my New Orleans friends, they were not happy about it. But hey, man, speaking of New Orleans, you've got this awesome album out right now, Jazz Party. With the Uptown Jazz Orchestra, with you lead. It is killing, man. I love the vibe of this thing. And it reminds me of being in New Orleans, club hopping, right? You pop into this store, you got a trad thing going on. Here's a funk club here. You got a brass band going by on the street. The second line, there's some real legit straight ahead stuff here. And what's so impressive to me is your band just nails all of it. They're so comfortable in every genre.
Right.
Thinking back to New Orleans of your childhood, right? Or, the New Orleans where you were cutting your teeth. Was this what you remember? Was this the vibe you were going for? Just everybody playing everything?
No, absolutely not. But
no.
Branford and Winton, they had a past in the sense that they played in a funk band called the Creators. So they used to go out and they'd be socializing. And then by the time my brother Ellis and I came along, that's when DJs first started out. And then our mother was getting more protective. So they were out partying and we were like stuck in at the house. So as I recall it, it was a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire.
Okay.
And Parliament and the Funkadelic. I do know that occasionally we would go out to some of my dad's gigs and man, it'd be, 5 or 6 people on the bandstand, 8 or 9 people in the club. We didn't really get it. We like, man, what's dad doing? What is he doing? And there was one classic time when the way the backstage was a place called Lou and Charlie's. The piano was right by the backstage curtain. So my brother Ellis and I walked out. It had to be close to midnight. It might have been 11:30. And we walked out onto the bandstand and like on each side of my dad, and we poked him on shoulder. We were like, Dad, let's go home. I think they had like 3 or 4 people in the club. And he turned and he said, we finished playing at midnight. That's when we leave. We were like, okay, cool, whatever. But I would say that that kind of experience meant more to us as we got older. And we realized that, that's our dad was just, he loved what he was doing and he was serious about it.
Yeah.
And he had a serious sense of commitment to the music. And I think that's what people, really love about him. He was a very strong and unique man. He didn't complain. He was really old school. The old timers, they didn't complain about a lot of stuff.
Right.
They weren't really soft, certain kind of way. But he always would give you information that was valuable.
Passing it down on the band. Yeah. Just by doing it right.
Sometimes a parent would come to him and say,
sorry, getting a little choppy there, Delfeayo, but
you there?
We're here. You're a little choppy, but we got you. We got you. Got us,
okay.
Delfeayo?
But I would say my dad would tell me that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Producer Jeff is telling you if you can to lower the quality of the phone. In the camera settings.
That's where it is.
Yeah. If you set it to 480p, that may help. Yeah, because you're a little choppy. Or maybe inside would be better, beautiful as the day is. Oh, there you go.
No.
I think you got it, Delfeayo.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Got you now,
man. Can you hear me now?
Got you now. Can you hear me?
All right. Well, I'm going to try to. I was just saying, my dad would. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect, man.
My dad would say that a parent. I might need to go inside. Okay. I'm going inside.
There we
I don't
go.
like to wear the hat inside.
Oh, that's
my hair is so jive.
All right, mine too. I got the headphones to hide it, but this
all right. Is that any better?
That is better. That's better. Yeah, closer to the source. Get a sneak peek of the house here.
All
MTV
right.
Cribs,
Gray Wall.
Delfeayo edition. Nah, this is a good look, man.
Yeah,
this is a good look.
They wouldn't have this on there. Like the student once asked me, "Where your pool at?" You got a pool? Where your pool?
I wish I had one too, man. Although I don't know if I'd be swimming in it these days. That's probably actually the cleanest part of my house. Anyway, Delfeayo, yeah, it was funny. I came across a quote by your brother Winton talking about your dad, and he said, he never really criticized. He never really gave us critique. The biggest thing he could do was just demonstrate the right way to do it, and if he showed you how to do it the right way, you knew how you felt about doing it the wrong way. And that struck me because my dad was the same way, man. Well, he is the same way. And he's always trying to instill that in me, to apply that to my kids too, because, whether it was messing up painting the fence, it was never yelling at us that we did it wrong, telling us that we do it wrong. It was always, I'll show you how to do it right. And then you'll know how to feel about doing it wrong. And that goes everything from, again, fixing the broken printer to living a life, man. So that really struck me. And reading what you guys have had to say about Ellis has been really moving, man, because he was a giant in this music for sure.
Oh yeah. And my favorite concerts, I played with him, one called Kalamazoo that we recorded.
Yeah.
And, it's just real. That's what he really represented, the truth and honesty. And a number of musicians over the years, Max Roach and Milt Hinton, have said to me that, the most important element of jazz, of the music, is the honesty of it.
Yes.
You just play with a certain kind of honesty. So if you're hearing Louis Armstrong or Charlie Parker or, whoever it is, it's really the top level. There's something that's really honest about it. It's not like they're trying to do something that doesn't really represent who they are. And
Exactly.
when you hear my dad play, it's clear who he was on a number of levels.
Yeah.
Even in ways that might not be so apparent. To me, his playing was real romantic. And if you knew him, you would not necessarily say, "Oh, this guy is a romantic." But it's clear that he had a romantic vision of things by his touch, by the way he played, and how the way that his music makes you feel.
Absolutely. And this will date me as to how young I am. But one of the first jazz CDs that anyone ever bought me was the Peanuts tribute that Wynton did, and Ellis had half the tracks on that album.
Oh, yeah.
And just Ellis's touch, man, on Good Grief. The epitome of swing for me as a young trumpet player. That right. Even to this day, man, that lick. Right. If I had to define swing, that's it, man. So yeah, it was.
It's a special thing. We played one of the family concerts, and I don't know what song, but we all played. I was standing next to Branford, and so Branford played or went and played. Then I played, and then our dad started playing, and I leaned over to Branford. I said, "Man, we're gonna just sit here and let him do that to us." And Branford said, "Well, you got any other ideas?"
Right, man. Sometimes Dad's just got to show you how it's done.
That's for true.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the new album, like I said, I've been spinning it all morning. The title track is awesome. The Jazz Party to the Break of Dawn, Sun to Sun. Does that come from personal experience, Delfeayo? You have any jazz parties of your youth?
Well, we made the last CD. It ended up being entitled "Make America Great Again." Mm-hmm. Which it was a coin toss. It was supposed to be called "Living Free and Running Wild," but at the last minute, we thought that the election might go a different way. So we're like, right. This will be one of the great parodies ever, and it didn't necessarily work out like we thought. So, a lot of times the people will come by in the audience and they're not sure what's happening, and some people don't like to get into the political realm too seriously. So I said, what, the next CD, we're going to let people know we still love to have a party.
So, and it is a party, man. I love the one track on there. I'm so New Orleans, which is like, hey, that's a saying down there. You gotta show how New Orleans you are. Features Dr. Bryce Miller,
right?
Just laying down ways.
Roger Lewis on the baritone saxophone,
man.
And the great thing about that song too is, which would be difficult. One of the specialties here in New Orleans is our ability to play collectively. Collective improvisation. So one of the great things of that song is how the different instruments are playing solos, riffs behind the vocal, but they just enhance it. They don't interfere.
That's right.
It's different. It's not like sometimes we play the song and then guys want to run all their stuff. And right. It's like, that is to me the epitome of the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. And it's about family, and it is about kind of that democratic process where you figure out where you fit in and how you can contribute to what's going on.
Totally. It's great interaction. Not only is all this great musical interaction, but Dr. Bryce Miller, just laying down these, things that are just so New Orleans, man. There's one I love. I'm so New Orleans. I'm red beans and rice on Monday. But for us non-New Orleans people, for us people who, God forbid, call it New Orleans, what is the significance of red beans and rice on Monday?
Well, so Monday traditionally, as I understand it, it was when most of the house cleaning would happen from the weekend. So they put on the big pot of red beans, so it cook all day. So at that time, I guess it was the females were mostly doing the domestic work. So they put on the big pot of red beans, and it would cook so that they could get the other work done, clean everything up, and get ready for the rest of the week.
And now, who makes the best red beans and rice in New Orleans? Is there a place to go once everything opens back up again and I'm there?
Man, I'm not sure who has the best. There are a couple of places that I don't even know the last time I went out for red beans. Actually, that's the first thing I'm going to get. There's a place called Mother's, of course. They're known for their red beans. There's a place uptown. Joey K's has the red beans. Man, I'm not.
I know it feels like forever since anybody's been out. If somebody asked me about a restaurant.
Heard that kitchen They don't have red
Okay.
beans. Boy, they're killing that food. I heard that
Okay,
kitchen.
man.
Looking for a New Orleans spot, boy.
That has a Delfeayo stamp of approval. My wife actually lived in New Orleans for a little while as a kid. Her father was the counsel for Popeye's Chicken, man. That's a good job.
Okay.
That's a good job.
And it's funny to us because the first Popeye's fried chicken was in Kenner, Louisiana. That's
Okay.
where we're from. And the difference was that it was spicy. So at a certain point, you go to Popeyes and they say you want spicy or mild. I'm like, man, what are you talking? That's the whole point of Popeyes. Was that KFC was mild and Popeyes was spicy. But I mean, it's cool.
It's all good. Yeah, it happens. These places franchise out. What can you do?
Speaking of Jazz Party, for me, it represents the real transition of the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. We started off as kind of what you would consider traditional jazz orchestra,
right?
Playing the Basie charts, we're playing the Duke Ellington charts. We might have a couple of originals, but the presentation was not really what I would consider a New Orleans presentation.
Right.
And I was hosting a local community access show called Future Focus, and I had a guy named Big Sam Williams on trombone. He came, did the show. Trombone Shorty did the show. Corey Henry. Now, these are three of the top New Orleans style trombonists that are playing. And what I noticed was that they all played this one song, the Whoopin' Blues. Okay. And the way they played it made me realize, man, these guys have a certain understanding of rhythm that comes from the street, that comes from the brass band tradition,
right.
which is not really the way that I played. So, and I talked to Shorty about, just different things we were talking about. And he really gave me, even though he's younger than me, really gave me some insights that helped. And that week after that show, I just changed the whole, I said, we're going to add more of this.
Nice,
because,
man.
We start off with the brass band songs. And when I first started that, the guys are like, well, man, it's hard to play the brass band like the street and then bring it back in and play, things that are more,
the Mingus tribute tune. Yeah.
Right.
Mingus,
or even played some Benny Carter.
Right.
It's difficult to have that range. So now what we've been really practicing on is to be able to start off with a lot of energy, like you're in the street playing really strong, but then break it down and play something like Count Basie's All of Me, really soft.
Yeah, man.
So that's
it is a testament to your versatility, man. Just on Jazz Party alone, because you got the second line stuff on there. You got that raid on the Mingus House Party thing, which is a very Mingus-like tune. You got a tribute to Roy Hargrove on there, Dr. Hargrove.
Roy, I feel fortunate. Roy and I was just talking to a fellow named Chris Cheek. He's a tenor player.
Okay, I know Chris.
We were in a band at Berkeley College with Roy. And I said I was one of the few people that actually could say Roy was in the band that I put together because he had his own band for so many years.
Yeah.
But Roy was just fiery. And me, I think, the thing about trombone, it's funny, it's like we talk about trombone and trumpet. Trombone, it's like there's a reason the trombone section is in the center of the band. Because we keep everything cool. We keep the trumpet, the saxophones.
Yeah, right. But, or else the fight would break out.
But Roy had he was a trumpet player's trumpeter. Like he trumpeted. That's all he was gonna ever do was play. He was put here to play trumpet.
Yeah.
And when he was in the band, like now the Uptown Jazz Orchestra centers around Roger Lewis, who is the dirty old man. He's our baritone saxophone player. He's like 78 years old.
Right on.
And that band at Berkeley centered around Roy. And what I mean is like, Roy is the one that I say, okay, what are we going to feature Roy on? And then we build everything around that. And with Roger Lewis, we say, okay, if Roger Lewis is on the gig, we're going to finish with the dirty old man. And so he's going to start off the set and he's going to end the set. So once I know that, I say, we're going to build the set around that. Nice. Whereas if Roger's not there, we have to think about the set a whole different way.
And but it was the same with Roy, kind of the linchpin of the group.
So Roy was just one of those guys. He had a natural talent, natural ability, practiced, really had a great understanding. He played really honest, and it was just a great time. We had a lot of fun. So we had an opportunity to meet up with him again. We were in South Africa at the Joy Jazz Festival in 2013.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
I talked to him. I apologized to him for being a drag. I'm like, I was kind of doing the older brother thing to him. I had that thing, but it was a really good time, and I wanted to pay tribute to him and kind of the way he played for me. It always had a kind of a funky element.
Totally. Yeah, what I loved about his playing always, just like you said, he was a trumpeter's trumpeter. So he had range for days, endurance for days, could play the fieriest licks, loud. So he was so dynamic, but he was not afraid to just sit with a 2-note lick and just mess with the rhythm a little bit, really lay into something funky. He was all about melody. He knew how to use rhythm to generate energy. Yeah, man, Roy was another great one that we will definitely miss. And the tribute track, Dr. Hardgroove, is great, man. Hey, as you can see, we got people chiming in on Facebook and YouTube. Al saying, good to see you. Delfeayo, Rosa, tuning in from New York. Hello to Rosa. If you're watching, you've got questions. If there's any questions, feel free to ask them for Delfeayo. We may get to them at the end of the show, but we love hearing comments, and feel free to say hi to Delfeayo, man. Delfeayo, we're going to get to that album, Make America Great Again, in a little bit. Talk about that shortly. First, I just want to take another quick second to thank some sponsors here. One being Concord Jazz. So they released a new album, Ella 100, live at the Apollo. It's a live recording from 2016. It features some amazing performances by Andrew Day, Ledisi, Liz Wright, Cassandra Wilson, Monica Mancini, the Count Basie Orchestra with Scotty Barnhart there leading it on trumpet. It was hosted by Patty Austin, a Grammy Award winner, and David Alan Grier, the actor. It was a Tony Award nominated actor and performer. And it was meticulously produced by former Ella Fitzgerald drummer Greg Field. Again, it's available now on streaming platforms and, of course, for purchase on Concord.com. Greg Field, who we actually had on the show, he recommends you turn down the lights, you pour yourself a nice drink, maybe some Woodford Reserve bourbon. You let the album play out in its entirety and you just get transported, man. I think that's a pretty good idea too. That's a nice way to spend a Friday night. So for more info, visit Concord.com. Also brought to you by Blue Sound. Blue Sound is an award-winning wireless high-res sound system that lets you play music in any and every room throughout your home. Choose music from your favorite streaming service or from a music library connected to your home network. You just link it up to your device via the free Blue OS app, and that's it. Getting the kind of crisp and detailed sound that only an audiophile grade system can deliver has never been easier. They have a lot of portable systems that you could take from house to house as you listen to our brunch show at 11 a.m., then our 2 p.m. show with Kevin Eubanks, and then our after-hours show, maybe in a different room of the house. Could be something cool. Anyway, you can learn more at bluesound.com or by checking out our website, jazziz.com. We have put together a Blue Sound buyer's guide. All right, Delfeayo, yeah, Make America Great Again. This was a great album. Came out in 2016. And just like you mentioned, a lot of people were talking about the title of the album originally. And I've read some of what you had to say about it was that, we're in a time now where all people talk about is titles and headlines. And, you were kind of urging people, hey, go beneath the title, go beneath the headline, because if you unpack this album, if you spin it, it's not an endorsement of anybody. In fact, quite the opposite, really. Right. You explore American values, what it's like to be a Black American now, political divisiveness. There's a lot of, real heavy stuff in here. And, I thought it was great where you're saying that, hey, all we talk about these days is headlines. We never really get into the nuance of anything. Right. Do you think that's still going on, especially now we're all just stuck at home reading our iPhone all day?
Yeah, it's difficult. And once whoever first figured out that you could actually put out fake news and throw people for a loop, I mean, it just kind of, but I guess at this point, there's so much information. It's like a data smog. It's like there's so much that you have to sift through. Who has time to really seek out what the truth is? Right. But what the kind of the words that the lyric to the song "Make America Great Again." I mean, that's the real thing. That comes from years of living in the South, and even still today, things that go on that even 2 days ago. Well, I'm not going to get into it, but things happen down here in the South that you just have to say, okay, well, like they said that the Civil War, it ended, but it's still smoldering.
Yeah, I feel you, man. No, and that title track that you mentioned with Wendell Pierce kind of reading. Did you write those words that he's reading?
I wrote the words. The funny part of that is somebody in the band said, man, you know what? You should get a white guy and have him read it. It'll be funny. So I called Wendell and I said, look, man, I need to find an actor. I need a white guy, middle-aged white guy that can read these lines. And Wendell said, well, let me see. What are you thinking about?
That's pretty good, Wendell.
I said, wait a minute, man. No, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to take anybody's job. And I said, no, man, it makes sense to me now. This is a black guy talking about, man, I'm American. I've done everything that I could to represent America better than anybody. My ancestors came here and put up with a lot of foolishness to really represent democracy. We showed you what democracy was. We created jazz. That is the ultimate expression of democracy. And still, you don't want to accept democracy. And Wendell was like, all right, what time do I need to be at the studio? And just, really a great experience. Wendell's, such a professional.
Absolutely.
And so that was, and now how the song came to be. Now, this is even more interesting. The CD was finished. The CD was going to be called Living Free and Running Wild.
Okay.
Which I kind of wish I had, but that's another story. And June the 4th, I'm sure of 2016 was a Wednesday. And we played at Snug Harbor. And we decided we were going to make up a song. Sometimes we do that. We say, we're just going to make up a song just on the spot. And we said, ask the audience, what would you like us to put into musical terms? And of course, some guy says, make America great again. Oof. Some people are like, ooh. Yeah. That's a good idea. So I told the rhythm section, I said, all right, we're going to start off with like a old vaudeville kind of a groove. And then we're going to go to the modern swing. So we're going to start off in E flat major, and then we're going to go to A minor. Sax solo in E flat, trumpet solo is going to be in A minor. So we had it. So once they started the groove, and then the band just came up with the riff. Pop it up, pop. And then pop it up, pop. That came out. So we recorded it. Somebody recorded it. And when I heard it back, I said, man, we need to make this into a song.
Yeah.
Went in the studio, we laid down the tracks. And then it was like, we need a narration to go with this. And at that point, I wrote the narration. So it was as organic as a song, and occasionally and you mentioned Raid on the Mingus House Party. The same thing. It came out of, we created a song. It was originally called Black Panther. Mm-hmm. That's when the Black Panther movie was out. And we did a gig in Minnesota at the Dakota. And so we're going to just make up a song. We're going to call it the Black Panther. And once I heard it, and, again, those songs serve as a sketch for what the final song ends up being. And as I add in more elements, I'm like, yeah, this is Mingus. I got to give Mingus some love. So that's how that happened.
That's cool, man. I mean, hey, man, classic jazz songs have been composed that very way, man. So it's nice to know that tradition is still alive. Yeah, the Wendell tune. Do you go back a ways with Wendell?
We were at school together.
Okay. Oh, wow, man.
He's a year or two older than me. We went to Ben Franklin. Okay. I think it's 2 years. So Went and I went to the same. We all went to the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. So the way that works is you go to an academic school for half the day. And Winton and I went to Ben Franklin. So Wendell's freshman year would have been Winton's senior year.
Right on, man.
Right. Yeah. At any rate. And then I came in a little bit after that. And so anyway, we went to high school. We went to both NOCA which is the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, and Ben Franklin. So yeah, we go back.
Very nice. Yeah, it's you got a beautiful arrangement of the Star Spangled Banner on this album. Songs that really kind of speak to your interpretation of America at the moment. Fanfare for the Common Man. The title track, obviously, Make America Great Again.
That fanfare, I'm still kind of. I think Emerson Lake Palmer, man, they put it on us on that, man. They got the groove. We still didn't get the groove like I wanted. that video of Emerson Lake Palmer, man, and they're like in the Philadelphia Stadium, and they're just killing it.
Well, who was it? Woody Herman and the Thundering Herd had a pretty grooving take on that too, right?
Bro, but Emerson Lake Palmer to me. And I'm sorry I never got a chance to tell him, I wanted to say, bro, y'all funk on that, man. You
put the funk on it too. I mean, this is a good rendition too, man. I also like you included some standards on there, right? You got All of Me on there. You've got Skylark. So in making this music about, America and in some ways the devices of America, why include tracks like that, like from the Great American Songbook?
Well, my belief is that the next generation of great jazz musicians will be able to play every style convincingly. So what I'm trying to convince the younger players is listen to what's on the radio. And a lot of times pop radio, we
Right.
listen to that pop radio with condescension. Oh, it's so easy, it's so sad. But my point is most of those people didn't actually study music at schools. You know, they love music and they do what they do.
Right.
I know a guy plays with the group No Doubt. He used to play with, I don't know if he still plays with them. He's a trombonist, Gabriel McNair.
Okay.
And I saw him on the road and I said, man, I would imagine, you know, probably 50% of the pop musicians out here don't read music. And he was like 50. It's probably closer to 80 or 85. They don't read music. I mean, they just play.
Yeah.
But my point being that we are the studied musicians. So we are the ones that have the obligation to figure out what is the appeal of their music and somehow use it in what we do. So the point being, though, you have to know what Louis Armstrong did and why it was important. You have to know what Duke Ellington did, know what Charlie Parker did.
Right.
Not to say that we have to say our goal is never to imitate 100% what they did, but you know, every generation, certain musicians have solved problems for us. So by playing Count Basie, his group solved a lot of problems when it came to how you're supposed to swing.
Right.
Like define what the swing was. The
how a rhythm section really clicks in. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea. The idea is that we can go back to Louis Armstrong and play that with authenticity,
right,
and all the way up to kind of the bounce music. That's going to be next. We're going to put the bounce in there.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool, man. Yeah. And I mean, you talk about New Orleans being the cradle, you know, of all this music. And for so many years, recently, New York has kind of been, if you were a jazz musician, you had to go to New York, had to go to New York, had to go to New York. Are you seeing a trend starting to shift where you get a lot of really talented cats now landing in New Orleans as opposed to New York?
Oh, yeah. I think people still want to go to New York, but when they get there, you know, I think it's easy to hide behind the music in New York. By which I mean, if you go to the clubs and you really practice, then you don't have to reveal a lot about yourself. You can just reveal a lot about what it is that you've practiced and what you know. Whereas in New Orleans, people want to know who you are. You know, it's like I said, we got the dirty old man. We got a tenor player named Roderick Paulin. We call him the Reverend.
Yeah.
And the people in the audience are looking at the band. So sometimes we go to the second or third songs. Actually, when we last played, we said, okay, we're not sure what we're going to play. And a young lady hollered out, Reverend Rodney. She got the name wrong. She's like looking at him saying, I want to see, what is he about? And I think that's the thing in New Orleans is that we always play in front of people. So it's important. You know, the people are like, you know, who is this? They want to know more.
They're invested, man. Exactly.
Yeah. They want to know who you are. They're not so much interested in, it's similar to, I guess, pop music in that way. They're not so much interested in what the technique of something is. You know, I said, I've never had anybody in an audience come up to me and say, man, when you cats hit that flat 5 chord, when you started running those Coltrane changes.
Right.
But I did have a gentleman, he came up to me and I said, you never know. And this is the thing that was important about how my dad approached the music with a certain kind of seriousness. I had a gentleman came up to us last year and he said to me, after the set, he said, man, I want to thank you very much. And I said, no problem. He said, the last time I was here was last year. I was with my son-in-law and he was shipped to Afghanistan and he didn't make it back. And I remember that we really had a great time checking out your band. So I wanted to come back and I just wanted to thank you. And I shook his hand and I said, man, I appreciate that. And, you know, thank you. And please come back again. So that's the important thing to me is that we're reaching people a certain kind of way that they have a connection. And because you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on people, you know, at a performance.
It's so true. I mean, the human element of jazz is still very, very much alive in New Orleans. You know, it's a great thing, man.
The party element
and the party element, jazz party, man. That's a great place to start. That's a great place to start. The album is out now. You can stream it now. Delfeayo, man, this was awesome. This was incredible. Thank you so much for talking with me today. If people want to find out more or what you got going on, or what's the best place for them to do that? The site, social media?
Facebook page. I've got dmarsalis.com. Probably at this point, the Facebook page will be have the most information. But I want to just say also, we've got a donor that was interested in supporting New Orleans musicians. So we're starting an initiative called Keep New Orleans Music Alive. And that's going to be a way for people to support especially the brass band musicians, the guys who really put their heart and soul into it, but don't always get the financial support. So we're going to look out for that. K-Noma, keep music alive. That'll be within the next month. We're going to put that initiative out, and hopefully people can really support the local musicians.
Beautiful thing, man. Hopefully you and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra will be able to start touring soon. Any new material for album stuff in the works, or possibly?
I got yes, indeed. I'm working on it. I'm getting
all right, man.
Ideas. I can't reveal what it is, but
well, we'll look forward to it, man. A light at the end of the tunnel for all this craziness.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good times. But
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's great times, man. It just, if y'all want to check out, of course, the jazz party is going to put you in a good mood. And people say, man, what should we do? We're in this pandemic and we're at home. I say, try to check out as much as you can. That's going to put you in a good mood. And
that's exactly right.
I got to
focus on the positive, but not that kind of positive, the right kind of positive. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Delfeayo, man, like I said, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for talking to us today. We will see you. I'll see you backstage and we can rap for a little bit more. But right now, I'm just going to sign off with the folks at home. Wish everybody a great weekend. So thank you again. Really, man. Appreciate it.
Good times.
All right. Delfeayo out. Oh man, that was excellent. What a great guy. Just, that's exactly what I needed for my Friday morning. The album, as I mentioned, is awesome. Just like Delfeayo said, puts you in a great mood. Jazz Party out right now. Go stream it, your favorite streaming service, or buy it. Buy the real thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back again at 2 p.m. Eastern, as I mentioned, with Kevin Eubanks to talk about his benefit for the city of Philadelphia. And then again at 5 p.m. for booze. All right. Woodford Reserve is joining us to mix a little cocktails, talk some classic jazz. We will see you on Monday at 11 a.m. We're going to pick things back up with Fred Hirsch and then talk with Meze Audio a little bit after that. If you're interested in learning more about Jazziz, checking out more of our great content, including everything that we have in our Spring 2020 Charlie Parker issue, visit jazziz.com and subscribe now. We're offering a special subscription offer. You'll get 3 months of 3 months of unlimited digital access, rather. So that's everything that's included in our print magazines for 99 cents per month. Plus, for limited time only, we will enroll you to receive our Summer 2020 issue that is coming out in June. Summer 2020 issue is all about jazz fusion. We've got a long interview with Chick Corea in there. We dig into some essential fusion albums. We talk to some young fusion players about continuing that fusion legacy. So normally that's $39.95 for a year, which in and of itself is a great price. But right now, you enroll, you get 3 months for 99 cents, and you get that complimentary print issue. Also, if you're an independent musician or if you know an independent musician, check out our Inside Track program. People ask me all the time, Brian, I just released an album. How can I get it considered for review? How do I get it in front of you? This is the way to do it. Our Inside Track program lets you submit all the info about your album. The personnel, the track listing. You could send us a link to your Bandcamp or SoundCloud link. And it comes directly to my inbox. It comes directly to other editors' inboxes, and we listen to it all. I promise you, you can end up in a Song of the Day post, in a Weekly Discover playlist, or even on this very podcast. So independent musicians, I encourage you to check that out. All right. I guess that'll do it for me. Thanks again for joining me for the brunch. You always have a table here, and we'll see you again at 2 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. and we'll start it all again on Monday. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great weekend. So long.